welcome back to the Lazy Bettor Guides. I'm your host, Kyle Schaefer. The Lazy Bettor's Guide to the Kentucky Derby examines Kentucky Derby results from 1992 to 2013, and all of the prep races for each of those years. From 22 years worth of past performances, the book constructs a highly effective performance-based approach to picking Derby winners. This video series looks at how each race since 1992 played out from the Lazy Bettor perspective. You'll see how the visual record consistently affirms the Lazy Bettor interpretation of the data. Get ready to be wowed by the impressive performances of Derby-winning horses, their jockeys, and by the repeated accuracy of the Lazy Bettor approach. Unlike the prior year, when Arazi was the overwhelming favorite, bettors in 1993 struggled to decide which Kentucky Derby contestant deserved favoritism. They settled on the late-running Prairie Bayou, sending him to post at 9-2. Take it away, Roger.
In most years, only one or two horses qualify for the gold standard in the Lazy Bettor's Guide to the Kentucky Derby. The 1993 Derby held an unprecedented 4 gold standard horses, a highly unusual situation. So there are two ways that could have been played. Either bet all 4 horses who were at odds of 8-1 or longer, or you could rank them. And what I've found as a good ranking method through the years is to put more money on or exclusively bet the fastest early speed horse of the group. And that's worked very well when you have multiple gold standard competitors. Here, the top gold standard horse in 1993 was Sea Hero. He had run an amazingly fast 6 furlong figure as a 2-year-old. You can see this clip of the 1992 Champagne Stakes at Belmont. He showed great early speed and great finishing speed. He clearly was the best as far as 2-year-old performance. In the Champagne, he defeats 9 other rivals and draws away effortlessly. His final time was the 3rd fastest time in the preceding 25 years for that race, with only Seattle Slew and Devil's Bag recording faster times in that period. In 1993, as a 3-year-old, though, he struggled to regain that form. He entered the 1993 Derby winless as a 3-year-old. The favorite that year was Prairie Bayou, whose 3-year-old campaign was nearly flawless. He had 4 consecutive stakes wins entering the Derby, and that was topped off with his victory in the Grade 2 Bluegrass Stakes. So the crowd made him the 9-2 favorite. From a Lazy Bettor perspective, the favored Prairie Bayou was a likely loser, though. In all 4 of his stakes wins leading up to the Derby, he broke last or very close to last. He did not have the early speed we look for in the Kentucky Derby. And like Arazi, who was favored the year before, he didn't figure to show any more speed in the Derby than he had in the past. He'd have to dominate the final 5 or 6 furlongs in the Derby in order to win it, and he'd have to do it against the best 3-year-olds in the country. That's seldom a good bet, and you seldom see that running style succeed. So ABC TV here in the Kentucky Derby caught the key moment of this race in their isolation shot after the race. You can see Sea Hero, who's number 5. He's got a gold helmet and gold and gray silks. Jerry Bailey is aboard. This is Jerry Bailey's first Kentucky Derby win here. He makes a great move as he gets Sea Hero to dive into a opening on the inside. You can also watch the horse next to Sea Hero before he makes that move. It's dark green helmet, green and white silks. That's Wild Gale, a dead closer, much like Prairie Bayou. And this is interesting because it shows the Lazy Bettor principles in play pretty distinctly. In that book, I say that the athleticism required to break quickly out of the gate comes in handy in traffic and at other points in the race. Here you see it. Bailey gets his horse to quickly dive inside. Wild Gale on his outside tries to follow him but loses ground because the horse just isn't as nimble, loses a little momentum, and gradually regains it instead of that quick explosive burst you see from Sea Hero. If we rewind that and play it again, look to the outside behind those two horses, you'll see the gold helmet and the gold colors of Prairie Bayou. He's clear on the outside. He's the furthest one out. And you can see through the stretch, he begins to get rolling and gains some ground, but again, it's a slow, grinding, momentum-building type of speed he has, not an explosive burst that can make up a lot of ground quickly. So that's essentially what the parameters in the Lazy Bettor's Guide try to isolate, is that type of explosive speed and speed that can be sustained over 1.25 miles. It's not immediately, it's not as easy as just playing a fast early horse or a fast middle horse. So the book details that. Get a hang of it and you're going to have a lot of Derby winners. So in that replay of the 93 Derby, you can see that all three horses had a clear shot, kind of an even shot. They were all within 2 lengths of each other, a length and a half, with a clear run to the finish. And the speed prevailed, even though it was late in the race. Even if you had bet all gold standard horses in that race, all 4 of them equally, you would have turned a profit because Sea Hero paid $27.80 to win. Probably better than any running of the Derby. This race shows the gold standard parameters that work. You'll see similar scenarios in later years too if you click through this video series.
Alright folks, that's all we've got for you today. Thank you for joining us to listen in on all things Derby. Be sure to check out lazybetterusa.com and check out our blog posts to stay in the know for what's going on with Lazy Bettor Guides, as well as tuning in next week where we look back at previous Derby winners once again and look forward to this year's Derby. We'll see you next time.